Hi there, and welcome to Operation Carpe Diem. I'm your host, Caitlin, and here we help business owners seize their opportunity for success. Ready to start seizing your day? Let's dive right in. Hi there, friend. Welcome back. I am so excited for you to tune in to today's episode because if you are anything like me, social media drives you a little bit crazy. I know that I'm not the only person like this, but I can spend hours scrolling through social media, and I spend even more time trying to come up with the perfect caption. And it seems like by the time I make one post, I am completely exhausted. Send me a DM if you're like that too. I know that I'm not the only person out there that does this. Today, I am sharing 3 areas in my business and my social media where I soft batch content, which allows me to have more time and more energy to truly engage with my audience. So, first of all, what is soft batching? You've probably heard of batching your content, but you've probably heard of it in a way that's, in my opinion, a little bit over the top. You sit down, you write out a whole month's worth of Instagram posts in a couple of hours, or you record all of your TikToks or Reels for the month in one sitting. I like to use the term soft batching to refer to batching your content, but in smaller chunks, more attainable batches. We're not taking an entire month of content, not scheduling a whole month or two of posts. We're utilizing all of the positives of batching content and making it a little bit less overwhelming by focusing on just a week or two. We're batching in a way that prioritizes our mental health within our businesses and in a way that doesn't waste so much of our valuable time and energy as business owners on a daily task that's driving us crazy and sucks our time and attention. There are a lot of benefits to batching content, right? Thinking ahead, being prepared, not having to come up with posts every single day of the week, on the fly and off the cuff. And I know that when I batch content, I share more valuable information because I can think about what I need to share, what my audience wants to see, and I'm not repeating information as much. It allows me the freedom to both come up with and share something new. Rather than only posting pretty portraits from a wedding day, I can share about what went into creating the gorgeous flat lace from their bridal details, aka a post about what to gather for your wedding photographer to ensure you get those beautiful flat lays that you see all over Instagram. I can share reception photos, which I never tend to share enough of, and talk about some of my favorite ways to get your guests on the dance floor. I mean, have you seen those little LED noodles? They're the best. Like photographer, videographer, and bride approved over here. Devin and I, we used these at our wedding about 3 months ago, and everybody had a great time. When my mind is racing with the urgency of needing to post something and needing to post something quickly, goodness knows as a small business owner, we have enough tasks calling our name to spend an hour on one post, right? I can sometimes resort back to my good old tried and true post. This sweet couple had the prettiest day with the most beautiful portraits, yada, 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 or some variation of that, right? And as true as that may be, it gets old, it gets boring, and our audiences need something a little bit more. Remember, you as a small business owner are the expert in your field. Your customers, your clients, your couples, whatever you call them, they don't know what they don't know. They don't know what goes into all of your products and services, and it's your job to guide them into an easy and painless experience. And you can do that by soft batching your content. So here are 3 areas that I soft batch content in my business. First and foremost, I really enjoy batching feed posts. These are like the pictures that whenever you open Instagram, that's on your feed, right? Feed posts. And I wanted to talk about this first because one, feed posts are what most people batch in their businesses because you want to make sure everything is cohesive on your Instagram grid, right? But feed posts were the thing that kept me from batching my content at all for the longest time. Devin and I, we have 2 photography brands, and with CSC Photography, we photograph about 50 to 60 weddings per year. And in any given week of the year, we probably have a wedding and a session, maybe 2, maybe more when we get into spring and fall. Those are super busy times for us, right? And with a lot of sessions come a lot of sneak peeks, and I hated trying to batch content for an entire month, knowing that I'd really only get half of that month done because I'd need to save room for sneak peeks or blog post announcements, etc. And I couldn't fully plan for the consistency of my grid because I hadn't shot half of my month's content yet. Sure, I could plan for spaces for where these sneak peeks should go, and I could assume that I would post a wide shot with a fall-colored mountain view here, but if we changed locations last minute or rescheduled for rain, my grid would be thrown off and I'd be back at square one rearranging the schedule I had spent hours on. Finally, I gave up. I only posted in real time, which a lot of times meant not at all, and it wasn't any better. Maybe that story sounds a little familiar because social media can be really frustrating, and it's frustrating for a lot of people, right? That's why we're making this episode. When I started soft batching and only focused on a week or 2 at a time, I gained so much freedom because it wasn't as big of a deal to rearrange like 5 posts when a sneak peek didn't quite match up with what I had in mind, or if I wanted to post something spontaneously, it allowed me the benefits of staying ahead and not drowning in the daily dilemma of what should I post today. But it also allowed the flexibility to change that plan if needed and not get so out of sorts by rearranging a whole month of content that I had spent hours creating. So I use Plan, that's Plan with 2 N's, to schedule all of my content, and I put a link for you to get $10 off in the show notes. Plan offers so much for my scheduling because I can keep track of all 3 of my Instagram accounts, Facebook pages, even Pinterest and TikTok all in one place. And I can schedule my Instagram post once, set it to auto post, and it'll post on both Instagram and Facebook in the background when I'm busy being a small business owner and helping my couples and students. There are a lot of features that I love about Plan, but I'll get into those in just a minute. Okay, so the second area where I like to soft batch content in my business is Instagram stories. I know this probably sounds insane coming from a YouTuber / podcaster, but showing up on camera is not my favorite thing to do. I love being able to connect with people, and recorded content really allows me to do that, but taking a 1 to 2 minute video for my Instagram story takes me 30 minutes just to talk myself into doing it. Imagine if you wasted 30 minutes every day just trying to talk yourself into a task that should take no more than 5 minutes. If you do that every day, that's 3.5 hours of your time wasted every week, not doing the task, just talking yourself into it. And trust me, I beat myself up over that. Well, used to. I actually soft batch all of my talking to the camera Instagram stories on Tuesdays or Wednesdays because I'm already wearing makeup and cute clothes on those days, aka I don't look like a couch potato. And I know that I can take 30 minutes to an hour to create those 3 to 4 days worth of stories. That's roughly how much I like to show up with my face in stories. Sometimes it's a bit more, some weeks it's a bit less. I'll record one story about this week's YouTube or podcast episode. Maybe another story is about a tip that I'm going to post about that week. Maybe the third video is something about an offering, like the challenge that I'm launching or guest applications for this podcast. I can whip all of that out a whole week's worth of content really quickly and save myself a couple of hours by doing it all at once. Pro tip, if you're creating content for multiple days in one week, change up your shirt and or location. I know I have a favorite sweater too, and I'm probably wearing it for 2 to 3 days straight while I edit on the couch and watch Golden Girls, but it looks a little less planned to change it up a bit. Though I also love authenticity and will absolutely let my audience know that I'm wearing the same shirt as yesterday every now and then. You can use Planned to schedule Instagram stories too, and I do that sometimes, but for my talking to the camera stories, I like to post those manually because I tend to add the caption feature for my stories to be a little bit more accessible. Did you know that most people watch their stories with the sound off? Right? That blew my mind the first time that I found it, or that somebody told me that, and it's probably true because I watch a lot of my stories with the sound off. So the more you know, I guess. That brings me to number 3. The last area I like to soft batch content with my social media is personal content. I love to show a little bit of myself in my business and my social media, especially since so many of our couples become our friends during their wedding experiences and remain our friends long after. But I'm also the kind of person who hates living on my phone, especially in core memory moments. Maybe it's because I grew up in a phones at the dinner table are rude kind of family. Maybe it's because I'm a photographer. Maybe it's a touch of both, but I don't want to go on a trip and only experience it through the lens of my phone's camera. I didn't really get into Snapchat all that much. I had it, I used it in high school because that was the thing you did, but I never enjoyed taking pictures of everything to chat, right? I felt a huge pressure to make sure I looked put together in every picture, and a lot of my chats were the infamous ceiling pictures. You know what I'm talking about. I can't tell you how many of the "why ceiling" snaps I have gotten in my lifetime. Actually, it's probably not that many because I think my score is in the 7,000s. Meanwhile, my little sister has almost 900,000. But I digress. My point is, my first instinct when I'm out enjoying life in line at Chick-fil-A or browsing Target or wine touring with Devin isn't, let me take a picture of this. It's, let's enjoy the moment, really, really soak it in. And then I think about how that should have been an Instagram story when I get home, right? When I do think of taking the picture, I try to take at least 2 pictures or videos. One to post now and one to post later, like the next time a selfie with my 8-count nugget meal slips my mind. This keeps my mind free to enjoy life in the moment, but it also gives me a little folder of personal content in my Photos app that I can easily access and post when I need to share about my day-to-day life. I have an entire free guide on this that you can download below with the link in the show notes. It breaks down my entire process for creating personal content and gives you ideas for how you can start implementing it into your own business. It's called 5 personal content ideas for when your social battery is low, but everyone who's downloaded it says that it's more like 20 plus because it is packed with information and ideas for you, step-by-step tips and picture examples. Go grab your copy for free with that link below, or go to caitlinwilcoxphotography.com/personal-content-freebie. That's CAITLIN wilcoxphotography.com/personal-content-freebie. I feel like I always have to spell out my name because there are 20 million ways to spell Caitlin, right? So I'm sorry if that's annoying, but there are 20 million ways to spell Caitlin. So those are the 3 areas in my business and social media where I love to soft batch content. By focusing on a week or 2 at a time instead of a month or 2, I regain some of my mental health and save valuable time and energy that would have been exerted with one post. When I'm not spending an hour creating one post or story, maybe a post and a story if I'm lucky, I can have more time and energy to put into engaging with my audience, responding to their comments, commenting on their posts, seeing what they're up to in their own stories, and cheering them on in their journeys. And I love that. Now, if social media is making you crazy and you have no idea where to even start, as a listener of the Operation Carpe Diem podcast, I am giving you early access to sign up for my brand new 15-day social media challenge. We are going to be diving deep into our businesses and sharing content with our audiences that's both valuable and connects with them on a personal level. This isn't some cookie cutter, tell everybody a bit about yourself challenge. We're addressing real pain points and sharing meaningful connections and giving away some amazing prizes within our challenge Facebook group, including one free 30-minute mentorship call with a completely custom social media plan for you to use after the challenge is over. The challenge starts on Monday, September 11th, but you can sign up for free today with the link in the description or head on over to CaitlinWilcoxPhotography.com/challenge-signup. Again, that's CAITLIN WilcoxPhotography/challenge-signup. If you're listening to this after the challenge has started, don't worry, you can still use that link to get on the wait list and be the first to know when we start this challenge again. I can't wait to see you in there, friend. Thank you for listening to Operation Carpe Diem. If you liked what you heard, be sure to subscribe to our podcast and follow along on Instagram at Caitlin Wilcox Photography. That's CAITLIN Wilcox Photography. Until next time, let's go seize the day.